Hey guys, what's going on? It's Steven. It's time for another episode of PLANEZ. So again, just if you like the episode, leave a comment or give me a follow, or pass it around to your friends or post it on social media. Okay, enough of that. So as promised, this week we are going to talk about the F-16 Falcon. As I like to call it, the F-16 Viper, but we'll get into that later. So, the F-16 Falcon is one of those airplanes that we probably all know really well because of the film Iron Eagle 1 and Iron Eagle 2. Not Iron Eagle 3 because I believe in my memory Iron Eagle 3 deals with sort of old school World War II airplanes, but all three films do have Luke Gossett Jr. Now, the F-16 Falcon is basically came about from John Boyd, who we talked about last week, and his whole philosophy of having a lightweight, highly maneuverable fighter that is cost-effective and basically easy to create in high numbers. So, the F-15, like we talked about last week, is basically, if you think about that, sort of like the Cadillac of jet airplanes, fighter airplanes at the time. The F-16 was sort of like the more cost-effective version of that. I don't want to say like a Hyundai or a Toyota because, I mean, it's still, like $30 million to make one of them, but it's a little bit more cost-effective in terms of the creation of the airplane. So, basically, some facts about the F-16. It was originally going to be called the Viper, but they changed it to the Falcon because they named it after the Air Force Academy's mascot. But a lot of the pilots still call it the Viper. So if you say, "Hey, is that a Viper that you're flying?" They're probably going to know what you're talking about. Or, you're talking about the F-16. F-16s are also, they make up the Thunderbirds, which is kind of a fun thing. So this is a very digital aircraft. It had a fly-by-wire system that was completely computer-controlled, which was sort of the first airplane of its time to do something like that. And some other things about the cockpit. It does have a HUD and a HOTAS, just like the F-15. The seat itself reclines to 30 degrees, which is something that has to do with blood flow to the heart for the pilots, because, little known fact, the F-16 can go up to 9 Gs, which at least at the time was the most Gs that any airplane could sustain at that time. I don't know about the F-22 and the F-35, even if the F-18 for that matter, but 9 Gs for the F-16 at the time was unprecedented. Let's see. So one of the things about the F-16 is that it won a contract and was basically distributed to other countries. So there are F-16s all over the place. A little fun fact about Iron Eagle. Iron Eagle was actually made with those F-16s, not from America, because the United States Air Force refused to make a film in which an F-16 is actually stolen, which, if you remember the plot of Iron Eagle, that's what happens. He steals the plane to go save his dad. So those are actually all Israeli F-16s, and I don't know where the MiGs came from, but I know that they shot that all, I believe, for 6 weeks on location in Israel. And the guy who did all the cinematography was the same guy who did the cinematography for, I believe it's a film called Blue Thunder, but I could be wrong about that. So let's see. One of the most important things about the F-16 is that it only has one engine, and that reduces the weight of the airplane by 3,470 pounds. So, this is crazy at the time because they used to want to have two engines just in case one of them blew out. But I guess they trusted in this engine enough to only have one of them. And also it only has one thing on the back with the two things on the side and the back. And the whole airplane itself is very streamlined and really cool. Really cool looking, and it has a thrust to weight ratio of more than 1 to 1. It's either greater than 1 to 1. So basically, what that means is that it can climb and accelerate at the same time. So it's super cool and really, really maneuverable. It's a lot smaller than the F-15 and the F-14 and the F-22, which is interesting. Single seat. And super cool. F-16 has seen a lot of action throughout the years. It's still currently in action. Most famously, it was involved in the 2006 attack that took out al-Zarqawi, an Al-Qaeda person. So that was pretty cool. And just last week, or 2 weeks ago now, there was an F-16 had a refueling problem over ISIS-controlled territory in the Middle East, and it was actually escorted by a refueling jet to safe territory, and I'm not quite sure if the plane landed safely or if the pilot was able to eject once he was out of ISIS territory. So yeah, I mean, the F-16 has really gone through a lot of different developments over its history, and sort of what started as a pretty simple, cost-effective airplane has become an even more highly complex airplane, which is pretty cool. Oh, the last thing that I wanted to say is the control stick is actually on the side, and it doesn't move at all. It's all pressure sensitive. So when you're flying the airplane, you're flying with a control stick on your side that's pressure sensitive, which I think a lot of pilots have trouble with at first, but eventually kind of adjust to it. And pilots say they actually love it, because it's just, the airplane itself is so smooth and fun to fly. So that's the F-16. I think that next week we are going to finally attack an airplane that we all know very well, that we all love very well because of the film, drumroll, Top Gun. And of course, this is the F-14 Tomcat. F-14 went into service, I believe, in 1969 for the first time. And, it's one of those airplanes that we all know, we all love, we all think about it. And it's sort of, it started a lot of our passions for airplanes. So we're going to talk about the F-14 Tomcat. And I can't wait. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, that's it. Pilots out.